Thank you, and welcome to today's Candidate Forum, brought to you in partnership with City Club of Central Oregon and the League of Women Voters of Deschutes County, two organizations that are passionately nonpartisan and whose purpose today is to engage and inform Central Oregon voters for the special district election on May 18th. Our goal is to provide an opportunity for fair and impartial discourse, to educate voters about candidates' views on issues, and to stimulate voter interest and participation in elections. Today, we are hosting the candidates for Redmond Area Park and Recreation Board, or RAPRD, positions number 1 and number 2. The candidates participating today are for position 1, Matthew Gilman and Jon Golden. For position 2, Mercedes Cook, Jeremiah Pedersen, and Lena Berry. The Redmond Area Park and Recreation Board of Directors consists of 5 individuals who live in the district. Board positions have 4-year terms and are rotated. RAPRD serves the communities of Redmond, Terrebonne, and Tumalo. My name is Kim Smith, and League of Women Voters past president, and I'm honored to serve as moderator today. Today's live stream is also made possible by Connect Central Oregon, a nonprofit launched with the assistance of OSU Cascades Innovation CoLab. Our sponsors for the entire series of candidate forums are G5 Digital Marketing, Miller Lumber, Brooks Resources, the Deschutes Public Library, the Shearshaws Group, and Louis Capozzi. We are grateful for their support for these educational forums. If you are interested in supporting City Club or the League of Women Voters, please check out our websites to get more information, cityclubco.org and lwvdeschutes.org. All candidates who are in contested races were invited to participate via email and follow-up phone calls. We do not let a lack of response or an RSVP of regret cancel our forums. We appreciate the gravity of committing to run for office, and our goal is to provide an opportunity for fair and civil discourse. Thank you to the candidates who are participating in today's forum. We will start with 2-minute opening statements, then each candidate will have 1.5 minutes or 90 seconds to answer questions in a rotating order. Questions are taken from the community and members of City Club and the League of Women Voters. At the end, each candidate may give a 2-minute closing statement. For opening and closing statements, we have randomly selected the order, so let's get started. Matthew Gilman, for position number 1, you're first.
Okay, this is my 2-minute opening statement then?
Yes, please.
Hi, well, thanks for having me. I'm Matt Gilman. I am currently on the board of directors right now in position 1, so I guess that makes me the incumbent. I'm running again because I have unfinished business to take care of for RAPRD, otherwise known as the Redmond Area Parks and Rec District. So I've been serving for the past 4 years. I was volunteer serving for about 6 months prior to that before they invited me to run for one of the positions that was going to be open. I'm a passionate swimmer. I swim at the Cascade Aquatic Center probably 4 times a week. I, before COVID, was a volunteer masters swimming coach there as well. I have 2 kids, one that's still a kid, one that's an adult but acts like a kid. And I'm just, just a passionate member of the community. I care a lot about all of the things that I participate in, and I've sort of narrowed down my scope of things that I'm interested in to my job, my family, and my hobbies, and then this as my real community outreach. So I am very thankful to have had 4 years of experience. When I was getting into this position, I had no idea what it was for. I didn't know that it was something that I needed to be elected for. And then all of a sudden I was filling out a voter's pamphlet guide and trying to be a political candidate. So it's a first for me, but now 4 years into it, I feel like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I've learned a lot about the community. I've learned a lot about RAPRD, and I'm excited to be able to push this forward for the next 4 years if reelected.
Thank you very much, Matthew. Next is Jon Golden, also for position 1. Jon?
Hello, I'm Jon Golden, also running for position 1, and I've lived in Redmond for about 20 years, grew up in Central Oregon, and was just interested in getting involved in the community, and Parks and Rec seemed like an excellent opportunity to do that. I know that the Parks and Rec played a big part in my life growing up, in Bend. I did a lot of stuff through the Parks and Rec. I think it was my parents' daycare, actually, looking back on it. And my kids went through Parks and Rec here several years ago, and I'm just interested in being involved, and I hope to get a vote from you. That's really all I've got.
Thank you very much, John. Next will be our candidates for position 2, Lena Berry.
Hello, as she said, my name's Lena Berry. I am running for the second board position at Redmond Area Parks and Recreation District. I hope to receive your vote, as I would very much like to pass a bond to get us a new activity center. I very much am into looking into naming rights for different ways to pay for things. Not to mention family recreation centers and mobile recreation programs that will help us to bring these programs to local neighborhoods and children and seniors, adults, bring everyone in. We really want to support everyone in our community and have the space to do that. So please vote for me.
Thank you very much, Lena. Next is Mercedes Cook, also for position 2.
Hello, my name is Mercedes Cook, and I am running for Redmond Area Park and Rec Director position 2. I am a third generation Redmondite, born and raised here in this beautiful area we get to call home. I am running because my children and I and my husband utilize the Park and Rec system. And a few years ago, you know, I was watching soccer and I heard people say that we're losing kids in the community to the cities around us, the towns around us, because there wasn't a lot for them. So for me, sports is near and dear, as you can tell. I'm currently at practice. And so I felt that, you know, in order to be the change, to do the change, you have to be the change. And so again, sports is near and dear to my heart, and with a new rec center and a pool, we can make that happen as a community.
Thank you very much, Mercedes. Jeremiah Pedersen, also position 2, your turn.
I wondered about that with him.
All right. Hey guys, my name is Jeremiah Pedersen. I'm running for Redmond Area Parks and Rec District number 2. And, you know, I wanted to run, really, I just want to get involved in my community finally. It's been a long time coming. I'm born and raised here in Redmond, and this place is very special to me. You know, this is my home. I did move away for a little bit, but I'm happy to be back, and I've been back for 11 years now. But I coach sports. I coach youth wrestling. My kids are involved in several different Parks and Recs activities, especially swim lessons. I mean, those are huge. We love them. But I want to see these programs expand. I want to see more kids use them. I also want to help out the elderly. I understand that, especially due to COVID, the elderly are missing in a lot of socializing activities. They're not getting to see people face to face. So, yeah, I want to help with that. And there's a way that we can help with that and pair it with them and keep them healthy and keep them in shape. So, yeah, that's one of my goals. And then, like Matt was saying, his big interest is he wants to get this activity in the aquatic center going. You know, I'd like to help with that. So one thing, you know, I think I bring to the table is my connections that I have in the community. You know, I know a lot of different business owners. I know a lot of people, and I'm very involved in the community. So I would like to utilize those and see what we can bring with private businesses to help offset some of those costs to building a new building that will greatly benefit our community. So that's it for right now. That's what I'd like to help do. And yeah, appreciate you guys putting this on.
Thank you very much, Jeremiah. Next, we will start with the questions. John, you will be first to answer this. Several groups in Central Oregon promote planting native plants to improve pollinator habitat, reduce water consumption, and beautify natural areas. Will you, as Park and Rec board member, reach out to any of these groups to discuss including native plants in the parks?
Yeah, I would be happy to do that. I actually have family members that are part of the Audubon Society and big users of the community. And I could outreach those groups and look into like native fescues and other stuff like that. that could be planted that would conserve water in areas that aren't being played on. That's about it.
Thank you very much, John. Lena, your question next.
Well, while that is a great question, and while I do love food for pollinators, you know, providing natural landscapes that don't use too much of our water, I will say that Redmond Area Parks and Recs District is more about the activities, and we don't actually run the parks. That's the city's park department. So that would be who you would reach out to. And while I'm very much for it, we're here for RAPRD for the activity center and those programs. So it's a different program.
Thank you very much, Lena. Mercedes, same question.
So for me, I would reach out to the Deschutes County Gardening Club and work with the local FFA chapter at Redmond High School. They have the knowledge and experience of the soils around our area, of how the plants and trees can survive in the habitat here. And we can make the activity out at High Desert Sports Complex look a little bit better with newer trees, fresher trees, and plant some flowers out near the soccer fields.
Thank you very much, Mercedes. Jeremiah, same question. You're on mute. Thank you.
Hi, I missed part of that question. Can you repeat that?
Be happy to. Several groups in Central Oregon promote planting native plants to improve pollinator habitat, reduce water consumption, and beautify natural areas. Will you, as a Park and Rec board member, reach out to any of these groups to discuss having and including native plants in the parks?
Oh, that sounds like a great idea. Yeah. So, assuming, I mean, that's going to help. Well, that's going to help our bee population. That's going to help our water consumption. See, that only makes sense. And if they're, you know, active in doing this and trying to reach out or trying to make this happen, I feel like they would be the experts. I would absolutely reach out to them. That makes absolute sense. Yes.
Thank you very much, Jeremiah. Next, Matthew, your question.
Okay, well, so the Redmond Area Parks and Rec District does do programming and youth activities, and also does run events at the High Desert Sports Complex, as Mercedes was alluding to. So it'd be great to beautify that area with some native plants. We also have a giant park here at Tetherow Crossing. We also are in charge of the Borden Beck Wildlife Preserve, which is just off of Lower Bridge Way down near Lower Bridge. We also have some land that's out in Lower Bridge Estates, a 10-acre parcel there, along with another parcel. These are all natural places right now with only native plants. What they need really more than anything is cleanup, any kind of organized activities there, any kind of activities that we could bring more kids out there to go on hikes, to bring different, you know, any programming that we can get to going out there would be wonderful. So we do have wonderful natural spaces already that are part of our program. Sometimes they're underutilized. So I would want to reach out first to getting people to clean them up, second to getting more people out there. And yeah, thirdly, if we could get the different societies, the Audubon Society, the whomever you're speaking about there, to come out and take interest in it, absolutely, I would reach out. But you know, we do have a lot of things on our agenda. So I don't know that that would be my top priority, because we do have a lot of natural space already right now.
Thank you very much, Matthew. Next, Lena, you have the next question first. During the pandemic, parks and facilities have been closed or access has been reduced. What rules and regulations do you think should remain in place, and at what point do you feel these restrictions should be lifted? What authority will you rely on to make those decisions?
You know, I feel like there is a fine line between outdoor activities that the CDC has said, hey, you know, for those of us adults who have had the vaccines, we're okay out in open air spaces, you know, obviously not huge festivals. But definitely, I would be okay with having our youth outdoor sports and outdoor activities and limited indoor activities. I would definitely go with the recommendations of the CDC and our government, Kate Brown and the Oregon government, and their recommendations. I think that's smart to do. feel like we should all work together to be safe and healthy and get our community back to normal as soon as we possibly can.
Thank you very much, Lena. Mercedes, you're next. Same question.
So for me, it would be the mental health side of things and statistics to see what other park and recreation districts have done around the nation to make it work. Because as we all know, mental health is the #1 thing that's important to getting outside and enjoying the beautiful outdoors here in Central Oregon. And I feel like if we do it safely and wisely, we can accomplish it. But again, we would just, for me, I'm all about statistics. And I feel that if we reached out to other park and rec districts in the nation to see how they made it work in the last year and a half, I feel like we can accomplish great things as well.
Great. Thank you very much, Mercedes. Jeremiah, your question?
Yes. My goal would be to fully open everything. I hope it never, hope it doesn't come to that. Hope that it's just open without me having to go against Governor Kate Brown. But if that's what we have to do, then that's what I would do to the best, as legally as we can. So for that, I would look at first our Oregon Constitution and see the legality of Kate Brown's issue or mandates, and then check with the ORS codes and see how that goes in response to the authority that OSHA has, as well as Oregon Health Authority, coinciding with Kate Brown's mandate. So yeah, my goal is to fully open us.
Thank you very much, Jeremiah. Matthew, you're next for the same question.
So yeah, I mean, it's frustrating what's going on right now. I mean, where RAPRD is for health and fitness for our society, it's very difficult to have to shut down things that are good for people for mandates that are just blanket across the entire state or different counties. I wish that things could be taken on a case-by-case basis. I wish that we had the authority to make our own decisions about these things, but the way things are at RAPRD right now is that, we're a government entity, we're a municipality. We do what we're supposed to do within the laws that are handed down to us from Kate Brown. I feel like if I'm going to sit there and be, I can be frustrated about it. Yeah, I don't have any swimming times scheduled for next week. That's frustrating because we've had to go down to half the people that we had in this weekend for 45 minutes instead of an hour. It's frustrating. Everybody's frustrated right now. Restaurants are frustrated. Gyms are frustrated. We're frustrated. And, I'm just looking forward to a time where we can move forward in the future and that this doesn't have to be such a hot topic. And, that's what we're gearing ourselves up to be, is more and more people get the vaccine. We should have a great immunity within the community, and therefore we should be able to open things back up again. And I'm just looking forward to that time.
Thank you very much, Matthew. John, your same question.
Well, I also would love to see things open back up. And I personally think the mask mandates are I don't know what they do, especially for the really low risk groups like the youth sports. I don't know why anybody should have to wear those masks. So I would like to see us open back up as much as possible while maintaining safety for people that are in risk groups.
Thank you very much, John. Mercedes, you have the next question. You're first. How can the Park and Recs communicate better with the public?
So for me, communication is everything. How Park and Rec can do a better job with communicating is they do have their social media pages, but I feel like sometimes, so it's because I'm a people person, that they should hold, when it's doable, forums, public forums, so a lot of people can't make it to the Park and Rec meetings for the public to attend. I feel like if we had a question and answer night a couple times a month, it would be better and benefit the community. So then we can get their ideas and feedback on things and we can work together as one.
Thank you very much, Mercedes. Jeremiah, your question. Are you there?
Yes. Sorry about that. Will you repeat that, please?
Certainly. How can the Park and Rec communicate better with the public?
Oh, awesome. Yes. By getting public feedback, asking them for their feedback. And how I would like to do this is utilize social media. A lot of people, majority of people are on social media. So that's number one way I would like to do that. And what Mercedes said was a public forum of sorts. Yeah, if she's got a different idea, we should definitely look into that too. You know, I'm not the one with the only ideas here. So yeah, I definitely want to reach out and use social media to do that and just ask them, hey, what do you guys want? And pose a few different areas or questions that we need feedback on. That's it.
Very much, Jeremiah. Getting noisy there. Matthew, same question.
Sure, great question. This has been one of the more frustrating things as well, is that, you know, we serve a huge community and we haven't been doing the best job at communicating with the entire community. We have social media, that's great, but let's say that probably 3/4 of the community is not checking on RAPRD Facebook pages very often. So I have been pushing and we are now working toward overhauling our entire technology side of things at RAPRD. We have about 10 different systems right now. We're writing paper receipts when people buy things. We have this person on this mailing list, this person on this list, and nothing is together. So we're working on implementing, and this has been you know, one of my, a plank on my platform that I am pushing to get our technology overhauled. We have, I believe here in the next couple of months, I mean, we've had a request for proposal that's gone out. We're accepting these now. So we're going to be able to gather everybody into one system so that we have people's email addresses, and then we can start with emailing people as well as reaching out during social media. And I've also been pushing for us, when we do have important events, to be doing boosts and sponsored posts through those at our community as well.
Thank you very much, Matthew. John, your question.
Well, I think updating communication is always important. I personally have never had a problem finding any information with the Redmond Parks and Recreation District. However, like Matt was saying, consolidating all of the communication together, I think, is probably an excellent idea, where you can reach everybody in one click of the computer. So that's where I'm at with that.
Thank you very much, John. Lena, your question.
I am all for updating our systems, making information easier to find, easier to utilize, easier to sign up for programs. As far as communicating better, I would push for some more social media outreach. However, if they're not getting the interactions, they're not going to get the algorithms, they're not going to reach community members that we want to reach, or any, not that we want to reach any specific, but all of our community, because the point is, you know, to reach everybody, figure out how we can include everyone and do programs that work for everyone. So some of the things that I think we should do, obviously I do agree with the social media outreach. I do agree with bringing in, you know, an email block and emailing folks. And I also agree with having like a flyer in the activity book page that comes out periodically with all of the listings available, that has the mailing address, the email address, the phone number, a little flyer that they can mail in if they aren't social media or computer savvy. I think that we should do some outreach to the schools, especially middle schools and high schools, because we have lost a lot of the kids. There's just not anybody signing up. So we can't, you know, bring in those activities back to us when we don't get enough kids to actually make any teams. So I think we can reach out with flyers and outreach at the schools, as well as the senior centers and the elderly housing facilities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lena. Jeremiah, you're first on the next question. Can you hear me?
I am here.
All right.
Yes.
If elected, what are your goals for improving the parks and recreation opportunities Park and Rec oversees? How will you accomplish these goals?
Good question. So I using social media to get us out there, to get Parks and Recs out there, get people seeing us, I think is going to help. I don't see a lot of, you know, Parks and Recs on social media, and that's what people are today, especially in 2021 when we're all locked down. So I think that's a huge tool that we're not utilizing. I'd also want to partner with local businesses and offer, in order to offer more opportunities for different activities. And I didn't know that we could do that until recently. So I think that's a huge thing that we need to jump on. And then for the elderly, I definitely want to reach out to them, whether we send a staff member to their old person's home or at the senior center and do physical activities with them, I think is very valuable. And then working on getting an activity center. We're losing ours coming up here soon, the one off of Oda Meadow, and we need to replace that. That's going to be valuable to us. So building a new one, we have a piece of property that we can build on, and I want to work on making that happen. So yeah. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, Jeremiah. Matthew, same question.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, we need more activities for more people all the time. And that's what I'm pushing to do. I have been speaking with our executive director about this, just trying to fill up our calendar. We're working on a first annual pickleball tournament here in Redmond that, if all goes well, should be happening sometime around July. That's more short term, and we do have a fairly full schedule of events, but we've also been working with the senior center. Before COVID happened, we were in talks with them to be meeting with them every month to start running programs over there. My wife works at the Brookdale Senior Living Center here in town, and she's only been there for a couple months now, but I've been talking with her about that. And then just being open to new things. I mean, we live in a great community of mountain biking, mountain climbing, all kinds of other activities that people don't normally get to do. And along with somebody like my son, who, as Jeremiah knows, is his former wrestling coach, isn't the most athletic, but he did a Lego engineering camp and things like that, other STEM and STEAM projects that RAPRD is expanding into. So just continually pushing on that, which I have been doing and will continue to do throughout our future board meetings if re-elected, and probably if not as well.
Thank you very much, Matthew. Jon, your question?
Well, the first thing would be to open back up again as much as possible, reach out through social media, and possibly send staff members and volunteers to the schools to tell people in person that we're opening back up and things are going to get up and running again. I also would like to reach out to the disabled community. I have a son that's disabled, and I think that's a group that's kind of underserved. I would love to see them get a little more activity, whether it's through robotics or esports or anything else. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jon. Lena, your question?
First of all, to Matt's point that he will be pushing for that, whether he's elected or not, I would just like to say thank you. I know a lot of us are saying, hey, we have friends in business, we have this, but it sounds like, you know, they're only going to tap them if you get elected. And I would hope that everyone will work together to better our community and provide the most for everyone that we can, whether we're elected or not. I know that I will. My goals for improving the opportunities would be creating mobile recreation programs. We can work with the city to go into the local neighborhood parks. That would provide an opportunity for children to participate where the parents don't necessarily have to bring them, and the kids don't have to have transportation. They can walk or bike and spend some supervised time doing some good fun activities throughout the summer and the weekends and afternoons and evenings where some childcare is needed. I would work with some corporations trying to sell some naming rights for buildings, for building a new facility. I know that has worked down in the Medford Parks and Recs district. I would work on passing the bond, doing a survey monkey, getting that out to as many of our community members as possible to receive feedback for what programs they want to see, what works for them, what doesn't. Why aren't they coming to our programs? Why are they going to other cities? Just in general, do a lot of community outreach, figure out what we need, what we want, grow with us. There's a lot of room to build things like ultimate Frisbee parks and water parks, and there are scholarships available I'd like to see everyone use.
Thank you very much, Lena. Mercedes, same question.
So for me, same thing that Lena said, I'd reach out to other park and rec districts to see which programs are favored in the town. I would also work closely with the senior center, the Oregon Adaptive Sports, because we have a lot of children who utilize them, and we can work with them on creating programs for them. And then the Opportunity Foundation, reaching out to them and asking what their wants and needs are so that they can get involved as well. That's all I got.
Thank you very much, Mercedes. Our online candidate forums are designed to, as closely as possible, replicate an in-person experience for both the viewing audience and the candidates. This includes candidates remaining visible during the entirety of the recording. Once the forum and recording is started, we do not interrupt or edit except where significant technical issues are identified. During tonight's recording, issues were identified that required us to pause the forum briefly. Once addressed, the forum recording commenced. We appreciate the candidates and viewing audience's understanding, and we now will return you to the remainder of the forum. Thank you. Okay, Matthew, you will be first on the next question. Do you know if fees for facility access or sports participation are going to change in the upcoming year?
Do I know if they're going to change in the upcoming year? Well, we will have new activities, and those will be different, and they will come with different charges. I assume that the pool, if all remains as it is, will still be the same cost. If we don't incur more expenses, we're going to keep the costs the same. There has been no talk of raising fees at any point. Now, if we look forward into the future and we build a state-of-the-art facility, that is going to cost a little bit more to run, and in that case, we would raise fees for programs that are hosted there. If we've now, we're losing, as Jeremiah said earlier, the Odom Meadow Activity Center, but we have added on the Pleasant Ridge Community Center, and costs are pretty equal at that point. So if you're going to join a square dancing class, if it costs $6 here, it's going to cost $6 there. There's not really any changes that anybody has talked about in any of the meetings that we have had in the last several years, because our expenses are relatively the same. That's all.
Thank you very much, Matthew. Next, John, same question.
Well, in my limited experience reading the budget, it looks like things are going to stay the same in the near future. And, inflation being what it is, I'm sure over the years, things are going to go up, and they're going to have to generate some revenue or raise taxes or do something to get the 35th Street property going. So, but short term, no, it doesn't look like prices need to go up for anything. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. Lena, your question.
I think Matt probably knows best, being that he's on the current board, but no, I do not see prices going up currently. From our budget from the past bonds, we have a 37 cents per $1,000 on our taxes. It's bringing in around 1.6 million. Operating cost is about 2.4. That is made up by the programs. So if they, however much they need to maintain themselves, that's what they're asking. So, I mean, I don't see it going up unless, electricity skyrockets or this skyrockets or they need some major thing. But that I see moving forward just as it has been, enough to cover what's needed. So I do not at this point foresee the fees going up. No.
Thank you very much, Lena. Mercedes, your question.
So I'm going to agree with Matt and Lena on this one. Given the current circumstances with the pandemic, you have to look at the cost of things. A lot of revenue is not coming in. And what we do at the high school level is we cut the cost of things in half for sports and different activities. And I feel that if we do that and make it available to the public, let them know, swimming lessons used to be this amount of dollars, well, they're now going to be this because of this. I feel that it will hit, but you have to take baby steps in order to regain the strength and regrowth.
Thank you very much, Mercedes. Jeremiah, your question.
You asked if we knew of any new programs opening up and if any fees were changing. Is that correct?
Would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes.
I'd be happy to. If elected, oh, sorry. Do you know if fees for facility access or participation are going to change in the upcoming year?
Fees. Okay. No, I don't know, but in just looking at the budgets, I don't think that they're going to increase at all or change. So yeah, and actually going forward, since we had a lockdown last year, we have a good head start in our budget this year, which is nice to see. So.
Thank you very much. Next, John, you have this, your first for this new question. How should safety issues such as guns, alcohol, unpermitted large gatherings in the parks be monitored and controlled?
Well, as near as I can tell, all these things are being pretty well taken care of by our local law enforcement right now. I don't know that Parks and Recreation has any authority to do anything different. I don't know, as far as guns, if you're talking about concealed weapons, I don't see an issue with them. And if you're talking about people brandishing weapons, law enforcement would be involved there. So as far as alcohol and parties, if that would be law enforcement, like I said. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Lena, you're next.
Again, you know, most of the things that we would do with the Parks and Recs district wouldn't require guns or alcohol or large gathering of that sort. It would be, you'd need permits from the city. I know those have been lowered with 2020 because of COVID for what you need, but that there is already something in place. It's through the city, through the police department, that's where it'd go. As far as the legislation where we would decide whether or not concealed weapons are allowed inside our facilities, I am not for having guns or weapons inside our facilities. I believe that leads to a lot of excess problems that could come up. You know, we've got a swim center full of wet kids and parents, and a lot of accidents could happen. We also have people who maybe would be acting in a vigilante sort of situation should something happen, which God forbid that do, and we may end up with an Ahmaud Arbery situation or something like that. And I just think it's better to keep those separate. But again, most of the things would be through the Parks Department, through the city, and with the police department, and I would keep it that way.
Thank you very much, Lena. Mercedes, your question.
So for me, as a travel ball softball coach, we go to different parks and we use their facilities, and they have a security guard in the park, and he notifies local law enforcement. And I feel like in Redmond, we don't have that problem. We do a really good job with monitoring that. Like Lena said, the city makes the rules and deciding factors of the parks of what can happen, what can't happen, can and cannot happen. And I feel that as the community goes and sees their children partaking in events such as swimming, softball, basketball, soccer, a lot of law enforcement goes and supports their children. They are on duty and in their uniform, and I feel like that makes the members feel safe.
Thank you very much, Mercedes. Jeremiah, your question.
Yes, I wouldn't change anything as far as the security protocols go that are in place thus far. And for what Lena brought up, as far as weapons, firearms being allowed indoors, it's really not our place to say no to that. It's not something that we have authority to do. So, and I don't have a problem with it either. You also mentioned unpermitted or large gatherings that are unpermitted in parks. I mean, that depends. If it's just a whole bunch of people there and they're allowed to be there, I mean, that's okay. But if it's for commercial purposes that they're there, then yeah, they would definitely need a permit. And we'd have to call the police to trespass them. So, I mean, that would be the protocols that are already in place though, so.
Thank you very much, Jeremiah. Matthew, your question.
Okay, wonderful question. Yeah, I mean, we have run many events. We have run small events. We have run 4th of July celebrations. We have not had security issues in the past, as you know, we We have lifeguards on duty at the pool all the time. We have never had any issues with people bringing weapons into the pool. We have not, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like this is, you know, a hot topic that people like to you know, stir up stuff about. But you know, we follow all the protocols that we are supposed to. We get proper permits before we have any large gatherings. We inform the proper people that need to be, and we're going to continue to do so in the future. I mean, it's as you know, we're trying to be an organization that people can go to feel safe, to feel active, to feel healthy, to feel like part of the community. And if there's something that threatens any of that, or if we feel like there's a threat, then we will address it. But if there's not a current threat, or there's not something that is currently worrying people at this time, then we're not going to start making all kinds of rules that are new just to then get people thinking about what possibly could be upsetting in the future.
Thank you very much, Matthew. Lena, this will be our last question and you'll be first to answer. What can the Park and Recs board do to improve programs that benefit the BIPOC individuals, Black, Indigenous, Latinx, Asian, and people of color?
Oh, that's interesting. Do you mean that as far as within the facility or programs to make available?
I did not write the question, so I'm afraid you'll have to just wing it.
Okay. Well, one of the things that I would like to do is see more BIPOC, Latinx, API people working in our facilities. Definitely, I think representation is important. I think we can do some cultural and cross outreach programs, and just lesson days, about culture and different things like that, and just bring people together in a positive way to learn about each other and provide a safe space to do that, and to discuss things, because a lot of people just don't realize or understand things that affect other people and how things come across. So I think a nice safe space for people to interact and learn would be a great opportunity.
Thank you very much, Lena. Mercedes, your question?
So me being a Latina in Central Oregon, we have so many different opportunities given to us. I know that this year Park and Rec for soccer registration, they made registration in Spanish, and I felt that it did reach out to more of the Latino community. And for me, if we got more coaches involved and more diversity on the board, especially on the board of directors, I feel like that would hit home with the community. As Redmond grows, we need to make more multicultural events available.
Thank you very much, Mercedes. Jeremiah, your question?
Yes. So, I like what Lena said, or not Lena, Mercedes, about as Redmond grows, we need to make more, expand the community involvement and expand the programs available. So yeah, other than that, what can we do for that community is, treat them equally. They're already among us, they're part of us, and they're our neighbors and our brothers. So it's just treat them normally, I guess. Yeah, there we go.
Thank you very much, Jeremiah. Next, Matthew, your same question.
Sure. So, we do have a pretty diverse group of people that are participants in our activities. We have a very nice scholarship program that allows for all classes of people to join our programs as well. I think I have mentioned this before in the past to other people, but when I moved to town, and I come from a mixed family, I guess, and we moved in, we walk right to the front desk and we say, okay, we want to join this and this. They say, okay, hey, welcome to town. How are you? If you'd like scholarship, this is available. If you can pay, this is available. And I felt that this is a very open community to all people. I would like to continue to outreach to everybody, to continue not seeing color and labels for anything. I would really love for the school district to reinstate swim lessons for all third graders. It's something that we used to do in the town of Redmond, in the Redmond School District, that we only now have at one of the elementary schools. Getting more people involved at every level from a very young age in all kinds of activities that are good for their fitness, well-being, mental health, and mental strength is our goal. And that has nothing to do with where you're from and what you look like.
Thank you very much, Matthew. John, your question?
When I go around Redmond, I see a very diverse community, and the Redmond Parks and Recreation District seems to be just a microcosm of that. I see all that diversity reflected in all their activities, outreach to these communities if they feel they're being underrepresented. But I think you treat all people equally and with respect and move forward that way. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. Well, that concludes the question part of this forum. Thank you all for doing such a great job answering. I know it's a little weird on the Zoom, but we really appreciate it. We'll move on to closing remarks, which will be 2 minutes. Jeremiah, you're first up.
Okay. Yeah, well, I appreciate you guys listening to us. I appreciate your consideration. I hope you vote for me. And one thing I didn't touch on earlier is taxes, the cost of taxes. That's a very important thing among everything else that we've talked about. But, you know, that comes out of all of us, all of our pocketbooks. So my goal also would be to limit the amount of taxes that go out, especially considering this new bond that we want to do for a new activity center. You know, I would definitely be looking for ways to offset the tax cost on that. Other than that, yeah, I hope I'm able to serve you guys well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jeremiah. Next, Lena Berry, also for position 2, your 2 minutes.
Yes, thank you everyone for your time today, for putting this together. I really appreciate it. I would appreciate your vote for the second position for Redmond Area Parks and Recreation District, position 2. I am for a bond. I am for trying to offset costs with naming rights for facilities and with working with the city in available spaces like the parks, like the senior center, working together within the downtown urban renewal area with some of those funds to get a new center in the downtown area. I would like to spread out how we get the funding for this. Definitely I'm for a bond, but I am also for listening to the community in what resources and activities they want, what facilities. I am definitely for making new facilities so that we don't lose out, like the Madras Aquatic Center. There's no reason why we cannot be a leader in the area. We have plenty of our own residents here to maintain it. We would keep money within our area, within local businesses, restaurants, gas stations, and people. It would bring in more people to our city. So I would like to see that. I would like to see our youth programs brought in. I would love to get more involvement throughout the entire community and serve as many people as we can, be that reaching out to retirement homes, the senior center, the schools, businesses in general. So I am just for a wide variety of fundraising, building funds, including our community, making it work for everyone, and doing the best that we all can together to build our beloved community. So thank you, and I would really appreciate your vote.
Thank you very much, Lena. Mercedes Cook, also position 2. Your closing statement, please.
I just wanted to say thank you for having us, and I apologize for the on and off camera. I hope that you vote for me. I am all for diverse community and recreation and for the programs and to build a new park and rec facility. I mean, we need it. We're growing, and I feel that as one, we can make it the most amazing community center there is. And with more activities and reaching out to different, like I said, diversity, adaptive sports type things, Opportunity Foundation, I feel that we can make this whole thing new and keep Redmond and make it one.
Thank you very much, Mercedes. Now for position 1, Matthew Gilman, you're first for your 2-minute closing.
Okay, full 2 minutes. Yeah, so I've chatted quite a bit. One thing that I have here that I'm lucky to have and other candidates don't is the experience, right? So I have been on the board for the past 4 years. I was instrumental in helping organize the last bond measure that did not pass. And that was a real bummer to me. It was something that I thought we could get done and we didn't. I found that I put more time and energy into it than basically anybody else in the community. And I'm looking for some new blood on the board to join me in this action to make that happen. Knowing what I know from what happened. I mean, again, I didn't grow up wanting to be a politician. I did not know this was an elected position. I did not know anything about it. So now, 4 years into it, I can't say that anymore. I do know what's going on. I do have the ear of many people in the community. I talk to people on a daily basis about what we have as a community for our needs versus our wants. I understand the funds, the taxes, all of these different ways that we can potentially market and get things done. I understand all of RAPRD and all the different entities within it. And I'm looking, and they do trust in me as well. They know that I'm somebody that signs my kid up for programs. They know I'm somebody that uses the facilities on a daily basis. They know that I'm somebody that cares about what's going on because I speak up when things aren't exactly how they need to be. If there's a typo on the website, sometimes I'm the guy that's finding it. So I'm always pushing for this to move forward because I do believe that as a community, this is one of the best ways that we can come together, and I will continue to push for that. And I look forward to receiving your help and votes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Matthew. Jon Golden, also for position number 1, your turn for your 2 minutes.
Well, I really just believe that churches, schools, and your Parks and Recreation Department are where communities are built, and I would love to be a part of that. I would love to explore funding options going forward, see if we could generate some revenue through corporate sponsorship or something rather than taxes, until I found out that the people of Redmond Parks and Recreation District really wanted that tax. But other than that, I appreciate you having me, and I hope you get your vote. Thank you very much. And I would like to say, Matt, it's been a pleasure talking with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jon. Thank you to the candidates for participating in today's forum. And thanks to the League of Women Voters of Deschutes County and City Club of Central Oregon for partnering to get this information out. Remember, if you enjoyed today's forum and would like to help cover the costs, please consider making a donation to City Club on their website at cityclubco.org. And if you're interested in helping out the League of Women Voters or becoming a member, please contact them at their website, lwvdeschutes.org. Thanks again to our Candidate Forum series sponsors, G5 Digital Marketing, Miller Lumber, Brooks Resources, the Deschutes Public Library, the Shearshaws Group, and Louis Capozzi. Without their support, we would not be able to bring you forums that make and keep democracy strong. This is the last of the combined League of Women Voters of Deschutes County and City Club of Central Oregon Candidates Forum for the special election of May 18th. All of our forums are available on City Club of Central Oregon's YouTube channel. The forums are also available to watch from links at the lwvdeschutes.org website. A huge thank you to the members of City Club, League of Women Voters, and the team at Connect Central Oregon. An especially huge thank you goes out to Joey Drucker of City Club, Susie Penhollow, Jerry Hauser, and Carol Loesch of the League, and the Question Crew, including but not limited to Joyce Durbin, Marie Gibson, and Dawn Hartzow. And thanks to Scott and Dan and the rest of the crew at Connect Central Oregon for making the forums flow like magic. And for those of you watching, thank you for your interest in keeping democracy alive. This was a pre-recorded event at an earlier time. Have a great day, and thanks again for watching.